There's two realms of this regulatory question really on IRA and on FTC. On the IRA, it's actually interesting. We've now turned the corner to 2024, and we will actually now be in our real year of implementing IRA. We're only a few weeks away from February. And so I would highlight that, especially for large cap pharma, meaning the acquirers of the biotech universe, it actually weighs quite heavily on their mindset as to how they think about prioritizing indications, prioritizing products, and of course, M&A. You've seen in some of these M&A transactions that we've talked about on this panel, that IRA actually has been highlighted in the Q&A, in the transcripts, and the ideas to the genesis of the deal to think about how to defend against IRA. So regulatory is really having an impact on both prioritization of internal pipelines as well as external innovation. And so I think that'll likely continue the case. I think this will be an important year as you actually see how IRA is truly being implemented with the products, with the prices, with the negotiation heading to the end of the year and then into 2025 with the next list. While I have the microphone on FTC, I talked a lot about the tailwinds for M&A being quite durable and likely very self-evident to this audience. The headwinds actually have been real over the last couple of years, and the primary headwind really has been, in some people's perspectives, FTC, that the FTC would not allow for any large deal to happen. So I think what's important over the last 6 months that you've seen is obviously Amgen did close on Horizon. Pfizer closed on Seagen just a few weeks ago. And so I think these are important sentiment positives for the overall kind of M&A barometer, that large deals in and of themselves being large do not become themselves an issue for closing. That being said, the FTC did voice concerns around even smaller deals the last couple of months. There was a smaller deal, not even a holdco M&A transaction, but a simple single asset in licensing with $150 million up front that the FTC actually did effectively help terminate. And so I think the FTC sent a message that they sadly are, for some of these, maybe also open for business, focused on not just size, but on kind of the merits and the substance of deals. That being said, again, when you actually collect all of this together, with the FTC, with where they were in terms of clearing deals like Horizon and Seagen, these should be helpful to the M&A sentiment for 2024. Isla?
No, I think you covered it, right? At the end of the day, we're going to live with an increased regulatory environment. That's going to be sort of the state of play. The IRA is likely to persist. It's not an election year or transition. And so I think we'll be digesting real time over the course of 2024 the impact of that. It has felt relatively manageable from a capital formation perspective. But again, it's something both public markets, as what investors as well as strategics are focused on.
So I think maybe at the front end, that sort of indication prioritization, so what therapeutic areas to pursue first, that might cause quite a bit of congestion and competition for the same patients. I think there's been different regulatory pathways that people could have taken that ease the burden on patient communities and also investigators. So I think we're going to have to watch that closely. And then we have a contracted global environment because of some of the geopolitical tension. We've got to make sure we don't slow down some of the key cycle times in startup and enrollment. You were at the same meeting as me with the UK government today. Certainly signs that they want to be much more active in clinical trials. They want to put the right resource in place. They want to be predictable in their timelines. They're upgrading their reviewer process. So that's certainly encouraging. And I think we've heard that from other jurisdictions as well.
Yeah, so I agree. Order of indication is incredibly important. I think also type of product. People have looked very closely at their pipelines. If they have more than one type of product in their pipelines, small molecule versus biologic, are they going to prioritize that biologic program if it's all hands are equal type of situation? So we've seen some of that as well. We've seen some programs that have been terminated and others that have been put forward as biotechs look at their cash runway.
Yeah, I think just one item to add. I think the rare disease space, I think, is something that I think people will look at. I think if any drug development or clinical development gets slowed down as a result of IRA, I think you'll see some patient advocacy and some lobbying going on with the government. And I think we've started to see a couple of signs of that. So that'll be one to watch. I think that'll be one to watch in 24.